The Golden Dome here at the University of Notre Dame shines bright as the sun beats down on this historic campus. It's a humid 88 degrees outside, and the Fighting Irish men's rugby team are set to host the Purdue Boilermakers. Welcome to the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel for Big Ten Friday Night Rugby. Alongside David Owens, I'm Chris Daly. Pumped to be with you here, David, for what promises to be a very exciting matchup.
Oh, Chris, couldn't agree more, and especially very exciting. After 7 days ago, Notre Dame pulled off one of the biggest Big Ten upsets of this season so far. Got to face number 20 Texas A&M with College Game Day coming all the way up to South Bend. Notre Dame was only given about 30% chance to win that matchup. Really had a huge game, slow defensive start, and the Irish pulled out that huge victory, now moving up to number 34 across the board.
Yeah, that was a really rowdy crowd. The Leprechaun was actually in town. The energy was palpable here at Stinson Rugby Field. And now tonight, David, Notre Dame versus Purdue, all eyes are on Jack Waterhouse. He had a hat trick of tries against Texas A&M. Besides Waterhouse, anything else you hoping to see tonight from the Irish?
Like you said, we saw a lot from Waterhouse on the scoring side, but how about Philip Guinan? I mean, 2 assists with his foot. This looked like a very fluid team last week against a very defensive-heavy matchup, and with Purdue, I can expect a lot of Irish scoring tonight.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting to see what both Waterhouse and the rest of this Irish team can do. As you mentioned, Guinan had a terrific day. He looks to have another huge performance wearing the number 10, playing at fly half position tonight. Notre Dame versus Purdue. We'll be back here on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel after the national anthem. And we welcome you back to Stinson Rugby Field right here on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. Chris Daly alongside David Owens. David, we talked about this a bit before, but this could be a big day for Notre Dame as they seek to gain their third win of the season.
Notre Dame really looking hot so far, 1-1 at home, but don't let that record fool you. This is a very exciting team. They went 6-1 from home last year, so we could see them go on a very hot streak, especially against a team like Purdue, who hasn't won in 377 days.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Purdue won in 15. Since then, they've let up 413 points, and they have scored only 80. However, we have seen some positive signs, especially compared to their result last year against Illinois, in which they got smacked by 60 points. They put up a fight against a Fighting Illini.
Exactly right. And looking at this previous matchup history, Notre Dame has had some recent success against the Boilermakers. 3-0 since 2021. Now, we didn't get to see a game last year, so mind you, these are two completely different teams, and I'm really excited to see what can happen on this pitch tonight.
Yeah, we will see as we are getting ready for first kick here at Stinson. As mentioned a bit earlier, it is a hot one outside, 88 degrees, but it feels a lot hotter than that, especially on the turf. So we'll see if that plays a factor today. Notre Dame wearing those iconic, crisp blue and gold jerseys. Meanwhile, Purdue dressed in their white and Boilermaker gold as Notre Dame kick it off to Purdue, and it'll be quickly received in by John Kustra, captain for this Purdue team. And the Boilermakers will look to build from the back while Notre Dame trying to pin Purdue inside their own 22.
A good stop right there. Purdue really trying to get from boundary to boundary. This Irish is really coming up close on that 5-yard line.
Yeah, the Irish definitely have a nice shape. It's something that Coach Justin Hickey talked about. They, at times, didn't against Texas A&M, and that's the reason the Aggies scored perhaps a few more points than Notre Dame would have liked. Granted, the energy in that game was sky high with the college rugby show come to town.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Hickey, and even with the upset, there's still room for improvement, and that's what you love to see out of a young team like this Notre Dame roster. Still guys trying to find their way and not just win games, but dominate them.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very exciting, too, for Notre Dame, considering where the program was when Hickey first took over as head coach, how they've been able to recruit. We look at a lot of the freshmen and even some of the juniors. Jack Waterhouse, who hasn't been able to play for 2 years due to tendinitis. He was injured. He finally got surgery. He came back to the sport of rugby, had a hat trick of tries, but it's really a credit and a testament to what Coach Hickey has been able to do. As it looks like we have our first knock on of the game, and that we do. Will be Purdue ball right on that 22-meter line.
Very, very good idea right there from Michael Medioshevsky. Just tried to fling it across. Close call, and I mean, that's what you're going to get your first scrum.
Yep. We'll see what Purdue can do off of the set piece. It'll be the scrum half, Jacob Mandel, to deliver it in for Purdue. As the scrum chant erupts from the Purdue dugout. Their bench is pumped up to be playing Notre Dame. And look at that, the scrum turns on itself. You do never see that, especially right here at Stinson. 99% of the time you will not see that. But Notre Dame somehow win the scrum defensively, and they set themselves up for a tap and go in a very nice position.
Look at that muscle up from the Irish, really getting in there. We saw last week a lot of their points won with their tries were fought. They weren't just good passes. It was hard-fought battles, and winning that scrum right there, they're having a very good chance of scoring right now.
Yeah, they do. So Colin Artis, will kick it out for Notre Dame, sets up a line out, and the Irish did score off of these set pieces quite a few times against Texas A&M. With that man right there, Waterhouse. However, they're going to say it wasn't straight. Looks to be the call, as there's some dialogue between both sides right now.
And even with the penalty, you could still see Notre Dame really elevating for those lineouts. They won a majority of them against Texas A&M, I believe 70%.
Yeah. Notre Dame were on a different level. Even when Texas A&M were the ones delivering the line out, just the pure height and the size of this Notre Dame team sets them up very nicely, especially when they're going against programs that maybe aren't in the top 10 of the national D1 rugby rankings. Of course, the Irish were ranked number 10 to start the season. As once again, the Irish will come up big defensively on the scrum. And once again, they have the ball with about 10 meters away from the try zone.
And look at Brennan Lucy, the flanker, really firing this team up. This enthusiasm is having a great chance for Notre Dame as they might have a try here.
Yeah, they give the ball to Waterhouse. Now they're going to look for Matt Williams, and he's got it. The senior Matt Williams punches it away for Notre Dame, and it's an early strike as the Irish score first.
What a try to get a first 5 on the board. Notre Dame starting this game off hot, not even 5 minutes into this matchup, and the Irish already up.
It's all about the defense. Notre Dame able to come up big on the scrum. They win the ball back in a really promising position on the pitch, and they take full advantage of it, something that they haven't been able to do at times. You go back to that game against Michigan. They won 24-20 in their season opener on the road in Ann Arbor. They had the ball in the 22 meters a whole lot, yet they weren't able to score all too much. But not today. Notre Dame seemingly fixing some of those flaws as Matt Williams with the score, Artis with the kick, 7-0 Notre Dame.
Let's talk about Artis for a second. Going into his senior year, has a lot to prove, and he has really shown out against the rest of this Notre Dame roster.
He has first team Big Ten last year. He's known for that foot of his. And just a really great veteran presence for the blue and gold. And you mentioned he's now a senior, somebody that Coach Hickey's looking to rely upon. Even if he doesn't wear that captain's armband, of course, he is still one of the leaders out on the pitch, and it shows.
Very strong senior core out of this team, and you're seeing it even with the scrums here. Those guys really getting into the pack and showing the rest of the younger fellas how to do it.
As Notre Dame with a nice Gary Owen, and they're going to pick it up. This looks promising for the Irish. It's Owen Pertelli on the left side of the pitch. As Notre Dame win the ball right back, doing great on defense today. Allowing no time for these Boilermakers to breathe. As the Irish swing the ball to Williams. Williams will try to bowling ball his way through about 3 white jerseys. And it seems as if the Irish lose it on the ruck.
Great attempt right there from Williams. And if you look at Kilcoyne right behind him, Notre Dame really having each other's back right there. Good team-wide momentum, trying to force their way into that try zone once again, almost scoring for the second time in just 10 minutes.
Yeah, again, it's just a great start for Notre Dame. Exactly what they had dreamed about last night. Now it's Purdue's time to show a little bit of offense. Haven't seen Purdue past that 50-meter line yet. And they did lose a lot of seniors from last season, especially Sean O'Donnell, who was one of the fastest players in the country. He was especially great in 7s with a bit more of an open field to run in, but in 15s, he was no less brilliant. He was a guy who was a second-team All-Big Ten selection, just a really talented player, and a big loss for this Purdue team. We'll be curious to see how they can recover without him.
Yeah, O'Donnell was a majority of that scoring. They averaged 12.8 points per game last season. This year, moving up to an average of 14. Still only 2 games, so too small of a sample size to see how this offense compares to last year's. But Purdue really trying to force their way. Can't even get past the half yet.
No, it's tough. This Notre Dame team is strong, and that's a great offload out wide. It's Will Linke on the ball. Or excuse me, Philip Guinan actually was able to receive the ball off the offload from Matt Williams out on the far side of the pitch.
Yeah, Guinan really had a great season himself last year. Just his freshman year, became first-team all-tournament in the Big Ten Championship. Has a lot to prove, like we said earlier in the pregame. Had 2 assists with only his foot. Really a guy that's a team player and almost had his own score there.
Yeah, some 2 nice grubber passes for the Irishman. As Notre Dame with the scrum, they were playing advantage. They've had a really quick speed of play about them, a sense of urgency from Notre Dame as they'll receive the ball off the scrum and work towards the inside of the pitch. Now it's Guinan with a great offload out wide in space. Here is Will Linke. Linke tries to dance his way around Ethan Miller from Purdue. Notre Dame able to keep the ball. Kilcoyne receives it. The Irish once again working through the middle. Here's Waterhouse. He's a tough guy to take down. 6'4", over 230 pounds of pure muscle.
Yeah, that's that South African strength right there. Had a great time in U18.
And here's a great kick from Guinan. Deja vu for some Irish fans, but Purdue were ready for it and able to recover the ball in the try zone. But a clever attempt once again from the sophomore Guinan.
I mean, I think that's the third or fourth time we've mentioned his name so far in just about 9 minutes. He's really showing his face early on into this matchup, and it's good to see a sophomore really get out there and try to prove something.
Yeah, he had a nice season last year, just slowly but surely built his role with the team, and he's taken on a much increased role throughout his sophomore season thus far. Some quick offloads now from the Irish and a physical play from Jack Dunn. And now here's Kyle Erden. He's a tough guy to take down, and look at that. Takes a few Purdue defenders with him. Guinan once again quarterbacking this Irish team, gives it to Waterhouse. This is scary if you're a Purdue defender, as Waterhouse dives in. His fourth try of the season. And who else but Jack Waterhouse?
I mean, absolute bulldoze into the try zone. Waterhouse ran through about 3 defenders right there. Very effort score right there. Notre Dame has scored almost all their points through a muscle through. It hasn't really been easy passing for them, but that just shows a testament to their strength. They scored the most points they have all season last week against Texas A&M, and each one of those were hard-fought battles.
Certainly a display of individual brilliance from Jack Waterhouse. He was the feature of a great highlight story from National Collegiate Rugby and the College Rugby Show. Highly recommend everybody to check that out. Pat Clifton and the crew producing that, as Artis's kick looks to be just left. Does it squeak in? They're going to say, no, it did not. This game remains 12-0, but Notre Dame will take that. A 2-score game, only 11 minutes into the match.
Now, Chris, you were here last week for probably the most exciting matchup of the year. Regardless, this student section is completely packed. I mean, Notre Dame fans really showing out, trying to support their fellow rugby players.
Yeah, and it's funny, we talked about this a bit off air, David, about Notre Dame versus Purdue in football tomorrow. So, of course, that's also going to attract some Purdue fans who are in town here in South Bend that, of course, just love Purdue sports. So it's really interesting to see the demographics of this crowd. You got the students, you got some of the older folks who are just here loving Purdue and the Boilermakers. It's really a great sight to see, as that is a Gary Owen and a half and a tough hit. It was Brandon Lucy for Notre Dame. As this game getting physical, Purdue players perhaps a little antsy being down 12-0 so early on. The Irish are going to try to pin Purdue back here.
How about that rocket of a kick from Jack Dunn? Really forces it way back into Purdue territory, and Notre Dame trying to advance their way closer to that try zone once again.
That's exactly what they do with the high press. Now it'll be the Irish looking to keep the ball. Going to feed it to Waterhouse. And that's a bear hug. Looks like a high tackle. Ref blows his whistle. He'll say so. Irish have a dead ball opportunity.
We've seen the chance for them to win most of their scrums so far. Notre Dame really working these penalties to their advantage. A very disciplined team that uses the lack of control from others to score.
Yeah, tap and go now. It's Matt Williams looking for his second try of the day. And he's just about there. We're going to see if he can fall through. There's a pile. Ref blows his whistle. He says he fell just short.
Nevertheless, a phenomenal try. Already 4 attempts at a score, 2 of them resulting.
Yeah, the Irish have certainly been efficient as Purdue looks just to generate something in this game. However, Notre Dame wins it right back. They can't even get outside their own 22-meter zone. Notre Dame has a lot of space here on the near side of the pitch, right now battling on the far side.
Yeah, these Irish really taking anything to their advantage. We haven't seen much action on their own side, really trying to keep it in opponent territory and force as much pressure early on into this game as they can.
It'll be a scrum for Purdue About 8 meters from the try zone. Dangerous territory. Purdue have had 2 scrums flipped over on them in this game. It's a pretty rare sight.
Look at this
Power of
pressure.
this
Might be
Irish.
another.
We're going to reset it, but that was a really strong start for Notre Dame. I would not be surprised to see the third of the day here.
Yeah, another close call for the Irish. Almost their third one scrum just in the last 15 minutes.
It's the scrum half, Jacob Mandel, for Purdue to deliver in the ball. Even if Purdue are to receive it, you have to imagine they just want to kick it out of this territory at this point, get the ball outside of their own 22. And ref will award the ball to Purdue after players are tangled up. And this is the kick for the Boilermakers. He's trying to move this ball away from the try line. You really can't blame him.
Looks like some neighbors might have gotten a new prize. That might have gone out of bounds past the fence. But, yeah, Notre Dame, once again, almost another close call with the scrum. They're really giving these refs a tough time at making a decision.
Line out for Purdue. Notre Dame have done a great job defensively on those lineouts. They're not even going to try for it here because they've had so much success on the actual pitch itself. Have been able to dispossess Purdue time and time again. Only 15 minutes into play here. It's 12-0 in favor of Notre Dame if you're joining us on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. There's Kyle Cardwell for Purdue. He offloads it. The Irish defense stingy as ever.
Notre Dame really giving these Boilermakers no room to breathe. Just a straight line across the board, and you really can't move in any direction.
Yeah, Purdue tries to get creative, kick it through Notre Dame, want to break those lines of the Irish. However, Philip Guinan had some other ideas. He was there to intercept the pass, and it's right back to inside their own 22 for Purdue. Lineout is in, won by Purdue. And now they have to move with pace. The Irish closing down on them, able to do so. However, bit of a wayward offload, a little too high, gives Notre Dame a time to reset. And here are the Irish battling for the ball. Brendan Lucy on the ground. Purdue keeps it. A nice offload from Beck Sebastian, captain of the team, somebody who really has to rally the troops right now. Has tons of rugby experience. 6'3", one of the more physical players on this squad. But Purdue once again pinned back. Surprised they're not just deciding to use their feet right now. Get by this Notre Dame defense.
And it all started with that tip from Connor Mulligan, really stopping that momentum and getting the Irish a chance to reset.
And here is that kick. It stays in, not too successful. Will Linke, blindside tackle. He's hit pretty hard. Gets right back up, however, but Purdue has the ball and a much better spot of the field. Near side now as Sebastian gets it, works it to the middle. Henry Garrison tries to run through a couple of Irish defenders. Purdue need to move the ball fast. Notre Dame aren't biting right now on any opportunity Purdue tries to give them. And that's a knock-on for the Boilermakers. A tough blow for Purdue after what was their best run of play through the first 20 minutes.
And it's not always just the contact, it's the presence itself. I mean, Notre Dame just coming in with a swarm of blue and gold, really giving the Boilermakers not really a chance to find any momentum.
Yeah, that's a great point, David. Scrum for Notre Dame. Jack Dunn is the scrum half. Really interesting story for Jack Dunn. He's actually a foreign exchange student here at the university. Junior from Ireland, played for Dublin City University, was named to the Irish University's national team. So it'd be the equivalent of here in America if we just had a national team of a bunch of different colleges that would go out and play against other countries. So he played for Ireland against France just about a year ago. as Jack Waterhouse receives the ball off the scrum. And wow, Jack Waterhouse. Pure dominance from the South African. The former U20 Springbok finds his second score of the day. And only 20 minutes into the match, he's already on hat-trick watch.
And wow, what an attempt right there. You saw him just shake off his defender. I believe that was Braden Kaiser. And then after he got loose, there was never a doubt.
No doubt indeed. Jack Waterhouse with his second of the day. He had 3 against Texas A&M, and you can see why he's considered one of the top players in the country.
Now, Chris, you mentioned that he might be the top player in the country against Texas A&M last week, and that's holding true. He's really putting up those stats, and not even just in the Big Ten. Around the country, Waterhouse might be the name to know.
Yeah, you look at the likes of Alex Nyamunda on wheeling, as well as his new teammate, formerly of Iowa Central Community College, Taka Musingwini, and so many of these other talented players. You look at the guys from St. Bonaventure and some of the top teams in the country. The Brown team, they're so good over in the Ivy League. But Waterhouse is right up with the best of them, as conversion kick is no good. This game is 17-0. Officially 20 minutes through here at Stinson Rugby Field. 20 minutes left in the first half of play.
Yeah, not even just Waterhouse, but Notre Dame itself might be in the conversation with some of those historical powerhouses in rugby. We saw them already have a top 25 win against A&M, have another one coming up if Ohio State can keep their ranking currently sitting at a number 23.
Yeah, and these rankings are on the Rugby Hawk. So we have joked about this a bit before. Texas A&M is technically higher than Notre Dame on the Rugby Hawk rankings. I do have my bone to pick with that just because, you know, of course, Notre Dame beat them. So Notre Dame should be a bit higher, but it's still early in the season, right? So eventually it will even out, and the points and how they do those rankings will all work out because those rankings are the best. It's one of the coolest things I've seen, and I'm very glad college rugby has that. Now, you mentioned that Ohio State game, David. That's on October 3rd against OSU. Notre Dame beat Ohio State on the road last season in what was a phenomenal game. Then they lost right here at Stinson Rugby Field in the Big Ten Rugby Championship game in a heartbreaker. All eyes are on that matchup. That's by far the biggest game of the year for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and I mean, the Buckeyes are 1-1. They recently beat Bowling Green, but beating them isn't impossible. And the Irish have already shown that they can beat another top 25 matchup and, again, make their way into that big conversation.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do against Ohio State. If they play like they are through the first half here, well, they put themselves in good spot. Guinan loses the ball. A sloppy play from Notre Dame. We haven't seen that yet. And a nice kick out wide. Will Linke tries to scoop it in. Purdue can't make much of it. As it'll be Purdue ball, knock on, I believe, for Notre Dame.
Now, this type of scoring isn't anything new to a Notre Dame versus Purdue matchup. Over the past 4 years, they have won 3 times out of 3 total matchups. And looking at that point differential, Notre Dame wins by an average of 27 per game. So hoping that can be the same tonight. You never know. Purdue really trying to find a little bit of advantage here, but those scrums need to be won.
Yeah, they do. They have not found their footing, and these set pieces are always a big opportunity, especially when you're outmatched physically or even in rugby experience here at the college level. They've had a tough night, especially with these scrums. And once again, Notre Dame flips it on Purdue. Ball will trickle out of bounds. It'll be a line out for the Boilermakers.
And I mean, once you win one, you have the momentum to just keep pushing forward. Notre Dame really trying to fire each other up. And even though it is a little bit a slower game in their eyes, they still have the heat. I mean, I'm seeing all these guys clapping each other up, trying to get one another really pumped up for this matchup. And that's what you love to see as a coach.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm sure Coach Hickey smiling about that as he watches on. Here's the line out given to Waterhouse. And now Andrew Cansfield tries to sneak through. That he does. In and out of a few defenders. Ball picked up by Dunn. Dunn loses the ball. It'll be a knock on and Purdue ball.
Unfortunate for the Irish, but even before that, it looked like some Boilermakers were looking for a call on that line out, trying to hold up their hands, call something. Notre Dame got lucky with that one, but now another Purdue possession.
Purdue will just decide to kick it forward about 15 meters, opt for the line out, try to win the ball here, get better field position. Would like to see Purdue work the ball from either side of the pitch. Begin to move the ball with some speed. It's going to be tough to break down this Notre Dame defense, but you got to get them on their heels somehow. Catch them off guard, be creative, as Purdue's lineout is successful. We're having more success with that than Texas A&M were a week ago on this very field, as Purdue with a knock-on ball to Notre Dame.
Once again, Notre Dame just enclosing within that 5-yard line, creeping closer to that try zone once again.
Jack Dunn with the honors on the scrum. Talked a bit before about Dunn's experience in Ireland. He was named to the All-Ireland League, a high honor for any Irish university player. And here's Dunn receiving the ball. He's going to offload it to Drew Artis. And Irish have the ball intercepted. Nice play by Kyle Cardwell for Purdue.
Quick patience right there from Notre Dame. Trying to keep that positioning the same. Good tackle right there. The officials calling this one dead.
Yeah, players will congregate. Looked like failure to release, however. Will remain with Purdue and Jacob Mandel. 14 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock at Stinson Rugby Field. Notre Dame in the lead, 17-0. Big Ten rugby on this beautiful Friday night in South Bend. You're watching on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel as that ball is booted right into the hands of Philip Guinan, a dangerous player to give the ball to. As Artis finds Will Linke, a really crafty guy. He loves to run, and there he goes. Gives it out wide. Notre Dame move about 15 meters forward. Nice passage of play from the Irish. Ball comes to Miataszewski. Miataszewski was hit. He said, no, I'm not. Just keeps going. Tough guy to bring down.
Yeah, look at that shake off the tackle. Gets one hit, doesn't even go down. Ready for another.
That's the weight room right there from Miataszewski. Some nice 1-2 offloads for the Irish. Cansfield is brought to the ground. Here's Jack Dunn. Able to get the ball off the ruck. Williams to Waterhouse. Uncharacteristic from Jack Waterhouse. Nearly loses the ball. And it'll be a knock-on. Boilermaker ball.
Almost a good save right there from Waterhouse. A great attempt to try to keep possession. But, I mean, Chris, you've watched a lot of these rugby games. If you're Purdue head coach, what would you try to say to try to break this Notre Dame defensive line?
It's got to be tough, but you need to be creative. We saw Purdue a bit earlier, David, using their feet. They tried to kick it through Notre Dame. Only saw that one time, went right into the hands of Philip Guinan, but they can be a bit smarter about that. And, of course, see the pockets of the field in which there are no blue and gold jerseys. Then they give themselves at least a bit of a chance to do something differently and to break down this Notre Dame team. It's going to be tough. The Irish are physical. The Irish are a taller team. They're a stronger team, and it's always a tough game. You just want to see your team compete. So for Purdue, just got to keep your heads up, keep competing.
Yeah, like you said, it is tough, but, I mean, that is great insight. I mean, that's the furthest advancement that Purdue's gotten this entire game, so hoping to find open pockets. Notre Dame not really giving any chances to have those open pockets. Really great field spacing and possession.
Yeah, they're very structured defensively. Again, something they've worked on in the past week after letting up a few tries against Texas A&M. As Jack Dunn with a huge hit. Purdue loses the ball right away. Great bit of defense from Dunn, and that ball is brought in rather nicely from Brendan Lucy. He tries to offload it to Will Linke. Pass is intercepted.
And what a great idea right there. Tries to wrap it around Ethan Miller, just short of the pass conversion. And that would have been another try right there.
Yeah, very well could have been. Here's Purdue. And that ball's coming up all the way near the press box. Line out.
You had to cover your head, Chris.
Yeah,
Make it hit.
line out for the Boilermakers. Always got to be careful with that. And
Hey,
especially all
keeps
these
us on
fans
our
in
feet.
attendance. Yeah, it does. And we've talked about it a bit earlier, but it is packed here at Stinson Rugby Field. Standing room only now as the bleachers are at full capacity. Notre Dame win the ball off of the line out, and it's a quick tap and go from Jack Dunn. Purdue was not ready for that. It's a quick hop step from Dunn. Dunn's about 2 meters away, going to give the ball up to Miadashevsky. And he looks to be in. Referee says not quite.
Nevertheless, still Notre Dame possession, a chance
Advantage
to
for Notre
advance
Dame,
this about a meter.
5 meters away. Waterhouse looking over it. They're going to give it to him. No, they're going to fake it. Matt Williams for his second of the day. He appears to be in. And once again, the Irish are stopped short by half a meter. That's a heartbreaker for Notre Dame. And a reoccurring theme for the Irish. So many times they get inside the 22, and they just have not been efficient this season.
I mean, an impressive tri-zone stand right there from the Boilermakers, and we were almost on a second hat-trick watch. You're seeing a lot of the same faces get into that scoring position. Notre Dame trying to make it happen with their strongest offensive units.
Yeah, Matt Williams is definitely one of the bigger guys on this Notre Dame team. Just a really stocky player, but he's slimmed down, especially for sevens. He cut so he can gain some speed, and that has made him a totally different player. He's on the ball right now. You can see that speed. A big man should not run like that. Matt Williams is really fast, as that's a knock-on for Notre Dame, and the ball hits, oh my goodness, Drew Artis right in the face. He falls down. A wild scene of events here at Stinson Rugby Field. It'll be Purdue ball after, that was just crazy, after a whirlwind of events.
Yeah, what a sequence we saw right there. And completely absorbing the kick itself. Notre Dame keeping it close and still within Purdue territory. A little bit lucky on that one, but, you know, what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, there's the old saying, rather be lucky than good, although I think it's better to be both. A little bit lucky and also really good, and that's what makes the great teams great. As the scrum here for Purdue is brought in by Jacob Mandel. And here's a potential line break for Purdue. Running with pace as Purdue tries to find shape. Mandel is everywhere, gives it to the fly half Sebastian. Sebastian quickly gives it up.
What a wrap down right there from Lucy. Stopping that play in its tracks.
Textbook tackling. And once again, that's Miadashevsky with the tackle for Notre Dame. This is really what separated these two sides, has been the defense. Notre Dame has not allowed Purdue to have anything offensively. And Purdue, although they have had a couple of stops, it's been tough for them as that kick is miscued for Purdue. Not what they were hoping for.
And I mean, Chris, I'm new to the press box here, but I've seen a really big pattern with this Notre Dame defense. We've seen a lot of total team presence, but strong individual tackles. These guys aren't afraid to get their hands dirty and wrap some opponents down.
No, they are not. After the Boilermakers lose a few meters on the kick, unfortunately for them, they'll look to Adam Eckstein, who delivers the ball in. Not seeing the Irish win one of those lineouts defensively yet. Saw that about 5 times against Texas A&M. They used Waterhouse quite a bit. Maybe today, not trying to show all of their cards just yet. However, they're going to say the lineout was not straight, so Notre Dame are presented the scrum. Jack Dunn here for Notre Dame once again. Great set piece opportunity for the Irish.
Yeah, playing a little bit on the conservative side, but what they've lost in lineouts, they've made up for in their scrums.
Here's Jack Dunn. A bit of a dummy and now a spin move Dunn once again finds his way through a couple of defenders. Call him MC Hammer. You can't touch this as Jack Dunn, after dancing around, will eventually keep the ball. Offsides called.
Yeah, just a little Irish jig right there, dancing around the turf.
I like that. The Irish jig from Jack Dunn. And that's fitting for the transfer student, or the foreign exchange student rather, from Ireland. Number 9 in blue and gold. And now Notre Dame has a great opportunity kicking the ball into touch. About 10 meters away from the try zone. This is a big moment here for Notre Dame, looking to put another try on the board before this half draws to a close.
Matt Williams has been very efficient with those lineouts.
Yeah, and a great offload while falling down. I believe it was Waterhouse to Kali Erden, but Purdue quickly win it. And they fortunately win it as Notre Dame were creeping a lot closer. Purdue move it back right on their try line, in a swarm of Notre Dame defenders hunting in packs like a bunch of lions.
What a win right there. Brennan Lucy trying to sandwich his defender, or his opponent, with the goalpost.
Yeah, that was a really awesome moment there for Notre Dame, as they're able to be given this huge chance 5 meters away from the try zone. It's a Purdue scrum. Given how Notre Dame has had success flipping some of these scrums today, this could be a big opportunity for the Irish. And that they do. Purdue lose the ball in the try zone, fall right on it. Notre Dame so close once again. Just about 4 minutes on the clock here at Stinson Rugby Field. 17-0. Irish trying to find their 4th try of the first half.
And even though that ball fell loose, Jack Dunn has really been the X factor for this Irish team, winning most of his matchups against fellow scrum half Jacob Mendel. We've seen a lot from the blue and gold number 9.
Yeah, he's been fantastic today. A superb performance from Jack Dunn, just like we saw against Texas A&M. He had a great game, 2 tries in that one. Off of the scrum, the Irish move it, open space now, and that far offload is nearly caught by Purdue. That was Keenan Brunetti, who was named to the 3rd team Big Ten, or the Big Ten 3rd team in sevens. Really fast guy. However, knock on instead, and wasn't able to fully grab that ball, and that's a tough blow for Purdue. That was their best chance of the day.
Notre Dame with another chance at a scrum. They have really kept their way within that 5 meters. Hasn't been much distance covered by the Boilermakers just yet.
Irish have a lot of space on this near side of the field. We'll see if they can work it to Will Linke, one of the faster players on this team, or if they look to go through the middle with their big men. They're going to give it to Waterhouse, and Waterhouse just steamrolls through about 4 Purdue defenders. One of the scariest sights on a rugby field. Jack Waterhouse running a million miles per hour at you. Now to Matt Williams. Here's Miataszewski. His offload is an awkward one. And the Irish eventually called for a knock-on.
And a close call right there, but even so, Waterhouse is hitting these Boilermakers like a train. Absolutely running through each and every opponent he faces. It doesn't matter the size. He can go against any mismatch.
Yeah, he's just one of the best players in the country. We talked about it before, compared him to some of the top dogs, but the way he's been playing through the start of the season, there's no reason why he can't compete with the best of the best, and it's really refreshing to see for Notre Dame after all of the injuries he went through and It's not just physically, but mentally. This is a guy who loves the game, who loves the sport. He just wants to be out on the field playing with his best friends. And to see him do just that is just so awesome as Purdue tries to kick it into touch, able to do so right in front of the 22-meter line.
Yeah, it's just been incredible resilience. Whether it's a guy as a mismatch or 280-pound Henry Garrison on Purdue, it really doesn't matter. He is ready to take anyone head on, and it just shows that hard work has been put in over the offseason. Like you said, very unfortunate ending to last year. Really bouncing back. I mean, there's nothing else you could say about it.
Yeah, Jack Waterhouse, also really interesting story. A U20 Springbok, which is arguably the toughest U20 team to crack into in the world, maybe right up there with the All Blacks. And he was also on the South African water polo national team. A really talented guy. He was also trying to be recruited for water polo. However, he's sticking with rugby, and I think Coach Hickey,
back to the sport, Chris. Let's
I think he's happy with his decision, and Coach Hickey's really happy that Waterhouse decided to do just that. As that ball is intercepted by Jack Waterhouse. He's got a hat trick, and he does it out of nowhere.
I mean, I guess we're going to have to talk about him a little more. What about that pick 5? Wow.
How do you describe the indescribable? That's Jack Waterhouse for you. He's the best player in the country, no doubt about it.
That's a hat trick for Jack Waterhouse.
Back-to-back hat tricks, this time all in the first half. And Jack Waterhouse gives Notre Dame their 4th try total of the first half. Irish up 22-0, have a chance to make it 24 with this kick from Artis right through the uprights.
Colin Artis puts it through the uprights.
Yeah, no doubter right there from Colin Artis. But how about that? In just 40 minutes, 3 tries right here for Jack Waterhouse. That might be a new record.
Yeah, Jack Waterhouse, like a thief in the night, puts Notre Dame up 24-0 at the end of the first half. It's Friday night Big Ten Rugby right here on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. That's all for the first 40 minutes of play. We'll be back for the next 40 right here at Stinson Rugby Field. We'll talk to you then. We welcome you back to the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. The Fighting Irish versus Purdue here at Stinson Rugby Field. 24-0 after 40 minutes of play. 40 left on the clock. Should be a great game. Chris Daly alongside David Owens. And David, it was all Notre Dame in that first half.
If I'm just putting myself in Justin Hickey's shoes, I have no critiques. I mean, Notre Dame really just showing out in this matchup in the first half. It's not often you see a guy put up a hat trick in just 40 minutes. Waterhouse standing alone as the player of the game, but we saw a lot of other promise. Guinan really getting his hands into that matchup, and Purdue has a lot to prove if they want to come close to winning this game.
Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle for Purdue. They're definitely hoping just to compete at this point and know that they left nothing on the table. Meanwhile, Notre Dame, you said it, just pure domination. You got to be really excited if you're Coach Justin Hickey right now. Jack Waterhouse with those 3 tries, and we also see a few substitutes warming up, especially Zach Banton, who is one of Notre Dame's best players, who's on the bench to start tonight, could be making his first appearance of the season. So that'll be really exciting if he comes onto the field. But for now, it's the 15 guys that the Irish started with. They're all out on the field. Same goes for the Boilermakers. No subs between these two sides at halftime. And we have our first scrum after the first knock-on of the second half.
Yeah, Purdue really trying to get this scoring started early, at least on the offensive side. They had a lot of troubles last year trying to get the ball into their try zone. Were shut out 4 times last year in the 2024 season. This year has been able to score each of their last 2 matchups. Really need to get something going soon if they want to make that happen again.
Yeah, it has been promising for Purdue, considering last year they lost to Illinois 67-7. This year, they lost 30-23 against the Illini, and this is a terrific run from Dalen Kilcoyne. Didn't see a whole lot of him, didn't have to in that first half, but he's really one of those silent killers for this Irish team as the ball is placed out wide to the hands of Owen Portelli, another valuable member of this Irish squad.
Yeah, especially as a lock. A lock that's name isn't mentioned is a good lock. You really don't want to see them on the field. They come in quickly, and you don't know what hits you. Kilcoyne finally getting to show some flashes on the offensive side. Notre Dame closing into that Purdue territory once again.
Kilcoyne, one of the few freshmen to have significant minutes for this Notre Dame team this season. He's actually the only freshman in the starting 15 tonight for the Irish. Hails from the United Kingdom, where he grew up playing rugby. This is his sport, and that goes back to the Irish's recruiting and what they've been able to do. You look at all of these guys. You have Jack Waterhouse, Jack Dunn, Phil Guinan. Even on the bench, you look at Race Bates, who is one of the most highly touted prospects in the country here in the U.S. out of high school, and the same goes for Andrew LaFranchi. He's been able to bring in top talent at a school that it's so hard to do that with the academics.
And not just in the U.S., but around the world as well. Notre Dame hosting a total of 9 international students on their varsity roster compared to Purdue's 3.
Yeah, it's a really interesting tidbit of information. It is worthwhile to note some of these Purdue players haven't been playing rugby their whole life as the Boilermakers progress past the halfway line, and that's the most we've seen of them offensively. They'll kick it into touch inside Notre Dame's 22-meter zone. And after the high tackle, Purdue takes full advantage. They have their first true opportunity of the night.
Keenan Brunetti really exploding past that halfway mark and going a little bit further, too, extending this Purdue offense into Notre Dame territory. The Irish having to make up some defensive side. We haven't seen a lot of chances to defend their own half.
Yeah, Brunetti's perhaps best try of his career, arguably his best try, was right here on Stinson Rugby Field. It was in the Big Ten Sevens Championships just a season ago. He took the ball from past halfway and exploded. Guy is trying for the Purdue track team at this point as well. He's definitely the fastest player the Boilermakers have, as this ball will be called back. We'll stick with Purdue. It'll be a quick tap and go for the captain, Beck Sebastian.
Even after the callback, Connor Mulligan really playing past the whistle, making sure Notre Dame doesn't lose any advantage, and a great tackle from him.
And excuse me, Beck Sebastian will actually just up to kick it in touch. The right decision. as it places Purdue 5 meters away from the try zone. It's a good line out for Purdue. Able to get the ball to Beck Sebastian. He's going to offload it out wide. However, Purdue goes back about a solid 10 meters immediately after. Unable to break the lines of this Notre Dame defense, who once again are in great shape, just not really letting up. Picture perfect tackles all around. That time it's Collier for Notre Dame.
Good extension right there from Lucas Becker, trying to push Purdue a little bit closer, but quite a drawback for the Boilermakers. Goes from 5 meters to very far out.
And another big chance for Purdue. It's a tap and go, and it's a set play right from the training ground. It's Purdue. We'll see what they can boil up here, 5 meters away from the try zone.
Mr. Daly, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just trench warfare right now between these two sides. Notre Dame defensively holding their own.
And the Irish, of course, digging deep to defend their home turf. Notre Dame has not let up a point just yet. Trying to hold still.
Beck Sebastian tries to get fancy, excuse me, David, on the kick. It proves to maybe not be the best decision for Purdue. They do keep the ball, however, and it's a nice spin. Looks like Jake Murphy, the Mishawaka man. Meter by meter, Purdue inching in. Rolling away from the ruck right now is Notre Dame. They win the ball back, moving with pace. That's Waterhouse. Now it's Collier out wide. Philip Guinan on the ball. Eats the tackle from Ethan Miller. Miller just puts a halt in that Irish attack. Notre Dame won't mind. They got out of their toughest situation defensively. Jack Dunn with a real clever kick, and that ball takes some great bounces for Notre Dame. Linky closing in. This is ideal for Notre Dame. They have moved Purdue to the complete opposite side of the field. And it looks like that ball was going right into the hands of Andrew LaFranchi. He let it slip. And it's a lucky break for the Boilermakers. What they were hoping for after a great bit of momentum and a great press from the Fighting Irish.
That one almost went in touch. But how about that huge hit way back into Notre Dame possession? Jack Waterhouse was slow to get up. Kyle Cardwell had to be walked off the field. Hopefully he's able to bounce back, but a huge loss if that happens for the Boilermakers.
Looks like we have a few substitutions as well. I believe that is Charlie Hack. We will confirm in just a minute. These jerseys are hard to decipher, the white and gold. But Purdue are going to their dugout looking for some fresh legs in this game. Meanwhile, Notre Dame have some players sprinting on the bench. On the sideline, it's Zach Banton standing up.
No doubter scrum right there. Notre Dame inching closer.
And some nifty moves from Drew Artis. Artis transferred from Richmond after his freshman year, and now a senior. He's been a valuable asset to this Notre Dame team. And we got a fight going on the field right now. Players pushing each other. Philip Guinan involved in it all, as well as a couple of Purdue defenders. They got tangled up, exchanged a few punches, or pushes, excuse me, no punches. Definitely exchanged a few words, I could tell you that much. Can't repeat it up here. However, does not look like they are really the best of friends down there on the pitch right now. Ref will sort it all out. Rugby is a gentleman's game after all.
Look at senior Owen Portelli just trying to break it up, get back to the game. Very class out of him, but still, Notre Dame not holding themselves back. You love to see a good bit of tension between this matchup. Even though one-sided so far, both teams are still well into this match. Quick talk from the officials right here. Looks like Andrew LaFranchi is getting a little bit of consoling right here.
Yeah, it's the two captains, LaFranchi and Beck Sebastian for Purdue. They actually have two captains, so could be either of the two that they have. Now it's 24-0 here at Stinson Rugby Field. Notre Dame were dominant in that first half, David. Well, we have seen some flashes. They were able to get the ball in the 5-meter area. They haven't been able to punch it in. It looks like maybe they've slowed down a little bit, or Purdue has just picked it up another level.
I mean, halftime can do wonders. We see Notre Dame start a slow half again last week. We've talked about it a lot, but very slow defensive half. And then you go into the next 40 minutes of that A&M game, and they just crack the door open, score the most points all season against a top 20 team. Now going with a little bit different of an approach, really had a chance to run up the score in the first half, and now in the second, they have to revive that fire.
That they do. Notre Dame started their season with a win against Michigan. Sandwiched in between that win and their recent win against the Aggies of Texas A&M was a loss to Walsh. Now, Walsh used to be Notre Dame College before the school actually folded, and they won the national championship under the Notre Dame College umbrella back in 2023. So that was a really hard-fought loss against the top 5 team in the country, but it taught the Irish a lot. They battled hard in that second half. They actually felt more proud of themselves after that game than they did in their win against Michigan. So that game certainly taught them a lot, and now here against Purdue, you can see that discipline that they've learned is starting to show. And even though they haven't put points on the board in the second half, they have by no means had a really slow second half. Still showing some great signs as Zach Banton will check onto the field, as well as Matt Scariano.
Yeah, good to see Ben back in the game, as well as Scariano, two really big guys off the bench for these Irish. I mean, you can go into the fresh set of lungs and give this Notre Dame team a little bit more energy, trying to score once again. Like you saw, Purdue catching a little bit of steam. These Boilermakers starting to heat up. These Irish have not let any try up just yet.
Yeah, Matt Scariano from Xavier High School in New York City. Meanwhile, Zach Banton overseas. He's from England. And last year, he was one of the best players in the country. Talk about the dominance of Waterhouse. Well, what about Banton last year, especially in sevens? A guy with that speed and an open field is just another level from the rest. Excited to see what he can do now. Checked onto the field. He'll be playing on that right wing, far side of your screen. Meanwhile, Scariano will be placed more in the center of the park.
Yeah, despite being from the UK, Banton was an All-American for 2025 sevens. Really coming into this country and making it his own.
Yeah, he's got a great blend of speed, size, athleticism. Just checks all the boxes for a winger. Now interested to see what other subs Notre Dame will make with 27 minutes left on the clock. Line out for the Irish, Matt Williams to do the honors as he always does. Gives it to Waterhouse, now to Dunn. Dunn with a quick offload, middle of the park. And it's Andrew LaFranchi, the captain for the Irish, moving forward.
Very underappreciated position right there. Matt Williams has been absolutely killing it on the line out so far, giving Irish the huge possession. Now crossing back into the Purdue half.
A little sloppy from Notre Dame. However, they keep the ball. It's going to be Artis to kick it into touch. You can see Zach Banton running forward. Maybe he's going to get on it. Almost Zach Banton. Notre Dame do keep the ball, however. Far side of the field. Both teams playing with it. Notre Dame able to come away with it. About 10 meters from the try zone. It's Miataszewski. He shuffles between a few defenders. It takes 3 white jerseys to drag him to the ground. And now it's Jack Dunn to Waterhouse. Almost a knock-on, but it's intercepted by a Purdue defender. And once again, the Boilermakers come up big defensively here in the second half. They're able to stop this Irish attack.
But even with the turnover, this field positioning is quite ideal for Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame have done a great job. As soon as they lose the ball, they always seem to win it right back. The retention rate for this Irish defense has just been fantastic today. Scrum now for Purdue. They've definitely had a much better second half than they did first. All 24 points for Notre Dame came in that first 40 minutes of play. Jack Waterhouse with a hat-trick of tries. Here's Philip Guinan. Talk about tries. Well, let's talk about assists. Philip Guinan knows a thing or two. He had 2 against Texas A&M. Those generated a few thousand views online as Will Linky gets the ball with a nice offload out wide to Portelli. Portelli, corner of the try zone. He places it down, and it's another try for Notre Dame. It starts with Philip Guinan. And it ends in the hands of Owen Portelli.
And what a fight towards the zone. Portelli being pushed out of bounds, extends his reach right into the edge of that try zone. Picks up another 5 for this Irish.
It does create for a tough conversion kick for Colin Artis, but we've seen him knock it in before from this exact range.
Fellow New Jersey native. I know, Chris, you're a big fan of his work.
I am a big fan of the state of New Jersey and his work as a whole. He's a really talented player, has been now for several years here in South Bend. As Colin Artis takes a few steps back, takes a deep breath, eyes to target. And that one will be wide left. However, Notre Dame will take it 29-0 with 23 minutes on the clock, almost halfway through this second half of play.
Now, like we mentioned in the pregame, Coach Hickey wasn't exactly, how would I say, he wasn't complete with the Texas A&M game. I think there was a lot of room for improvement, and since you were at that one, what improvements have you seen between this game and last?
An all-around team effort, and defensively they maintain their shape a whole lot better. Purdue haven't been able to crack the code because, well, Notre Dame has not allowed them to. And there was a few times in that game against Texas A&M where the Irish maybe slipped up a few times defensively, a couple of players out of position that allowed for some holes in their defensive line that the Aggies could exploit, and that's definitely been a big difference. And then overall, they're just sharper. Beginning of the season, after a long preseason, David, it's tough, especially with the offloads and the speed of play. It's always tough for these teams to acclimate. So they seem to have really officially come into their own as a squad, which is a great sight to see for Coach Hickey.
Not even just scoring-wise, but discipline as well. The lack of penalties has been astounding.
That's a nice Gary Owen from Jack Dunn. Bounces off of a few Purdue hands. And Zach Banton scoops it up, his first touch of the ball. That's a late tackle there from Purdue on Andrew Cansfield.
Ben really refusing to give up on that one, was roped down and continued to fight.
Purdue will make a sub. Checking out of the game is the Mishawaka, Indiana native, Jake Murphy. And if you don't know too much about Mishawaka, it's a town over from South Bend. So he's a local kid back in his hometown as Purdue go to their dugout once more. Notre Dame will also be making a sub. Waterhouse to check out of the game. What a day for Notre Dame's 8-man. Jack Waterhouse showed why he's one of the top players in the country tonight, David.
Yeah, I think he can go to bed feeling happy about this one, even though only played about 60 minutes, which is crazy to say only. He still got his hat trick done, and I'm glad he's getting some time to rest because, like I mentioned earlier, was a little bit slow to get up after a big hit. So hopefully having a chance to recover and get ready for their next big matchup next week against Michigan State.
Coming onto the field for Waterhouse is Stice Newhoff. As Zach Banton gets the ball, and you can see the speed of Zach Banton as he hops between a few defenders. Banton explodes, and that's a high tackle. He's taken down from the neck. right between the 5-meter zone and the try zone. A couple of shouts for a penalty try as some pushes once again being exchanged between these sides. It's Philip Guinan as well as a few Purdue defenders getting into the mix. But welcome back to college rugby, Zach Banton.
That is a bad man right there. I mean, we know he can handle the contact, but didn't even have to show it there. Just dusted his defenders. Notre Dame in great positioning right now, taking that penalty as well.
And it was that hop step right at that 22-meter line. Pretends to go one way and explodes to go the other. That's what he did so well in sevens. As just looking at this replay back here on my own screen. So a lot of words being exchanged. Some Purdue players aren't too happy. As the referee will talk to two Boilermakers right now. A bit surprised there is no penalty try awarded. A lot of times what will happen is if a player is going to score a try and they're taken down with that high tackle or another foul play, the referee will award the points. It doesn't look like that's the case here.
And I mean, a reason to have tension. I mean, this was Steve Nicholson's chance to really revive this season and get the Purdue Boilermakers a chance to get their team going, but you really can't let that get to you. If you're falling behind, just the aggression continues. Like we said, another 5 on the board.
Yeah, and actually a full 7 for Notre Dame with the penalty try. Conversion kick will be included in that as Zach Banton's got his first try of the season. And this will be real interesting if Zach Banton can start heating up, play like he's playing right now, and you mix that in with a healthy Jack Waterhouse, a healthy Jack Dunn. This Notre Dame team is one to be reckoned with.
We saw the Irish painting their names across the Big Ten All-Americans, really making their name in that tournament last year, hoping to go even farther this year.
Yeah, it will be real interesting to see what happens as Notre Dame seek to qualify for the college rugby playoffs once again. They lost to Wheeling last year here at home. It was on the call for that one, and that Wheeling team reminds me somewhat of this Notre Dame team. They just had so many superstars across the board. It was almost just impossible to compete with them. Every single position, all 15 guys on the field could start at just about every single program in the country. And Notre Dame now, with how they've been able to build this program, the guys they've gotten back from injury, Jack Waterhouse, and then also from overseas, Jack Dunn, mixed in with these freshmen and more experienced sophomore and junior now, create for a really challenging team as Bennett Portelli and Race Bates will check onto the field for Notre Dame.
Yeah, Bennett getting some good minutes. Younger brother of Owen Portelli. Starting to see a lot of dynasties right here. 2 Portelli brothers as well as 2 Scariano brothers making their name into the mix.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome to see. And also, Race Bates from Arizona was a really highly touted recruit out of Brophy Prep. As the Irish battle for the ball. It's a bit of a kicking game right now between these two sides, eventually into touch. And the Irish will remain with it. 16 minutes on the clock, 36-0 to score here at Stinson Rugby Field. It's a rout. Notre Dame has dominated.
Exactly right, and like we said, another huge matchup coming up against Michigan State next week. Currently, the Spartans are playing against number 95 Illinois tomorrow. So they have a big test, and Illinois, another great team within that Big Ten.
It'll be a very exciting game to keep an eye out for as Jack Dunn on the ball here for Notre Dame after the offsides call for Purdue. Gives it to Philip Guinan. A couple of more subs now for Notre Dame. Coming off the field will be Jack Dunn, as well as Matt Williams and Andrew Cansfield.
And like you said, with all these healthy players back, it's great to have a top-heavy team, but to have a complete team like this, getting all the guys on your bench some reps to really show their worth on the team. There's a reason why every single one of these players is on this varsity roster.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for some of these younger players to make a name for themselves out here. You can see them battling. It's Race Bates, number 23, in the blue and gold, picking up the ball for Notre Dame. He's dropped back, but he releases the ball. Really wise decision. High rugby IQ displayed from Bates as Notre Dame and Purdue battle for the ball near side of the field. Down on the ground is Owen Portelli, who you just mentioned, his brother Bennett Portelli has checked into the game. So we got both sets of brothers on the field.
Pass. Purdue will get the scrum.
Yeah, it's good to see a lot of family connections on this. Bennett was actually the first person I met here at Notre Dame. Great Canada connection right there. Had a lot of time to play rugby up in our brethren country.
Yeah, that's awesome. As Purdue yelling boiler up, trying to put some points on the board. Don't want to be shut out tonight here at Stinson. Will receive the ball off the scrum. It's Jacob Mandel. Who else except the scrum half? Beck Sebastian now on the ball, and he tries to kick it over the heads of a few Notre Dame defenders. Guinan just dives on it. It's a smart play from Guinan, and once again, he's got some words to share with a few Purdue defenders. He's a real chippy player. You can see it on display tonight. He's been involved with a few entanglements with some of these Purdue players.
Yeah, and between the words and the chants, Purdue is a team that will not go home quiet. And honestly, as a guy up in the booth, I love to see it. I know it gets a little aggressive down there, but that's just a great rugby game.
Yeah, a lot of respect for what head coach Steve Nicholson has been able to build. He's a Scottish native, coached all over the United States, especially in the states of Texas and Indiana. Prior to that, he played for the Dallas Jackals in Major League Rugby. But through his first 2 years at Purdue, he's already built a much more formidable program. He took over a program which a lot of these guys never even played rugby, and he's really taught them the game. And they've been able to compete against Illinois, who talked about earlier, they were dominated by just a year ago. So it will be interesting to follow their progress throughout the next couple years right here in the Big Ten. But for right now, it's Notre Dame who are kings of the hill.
Yeah, currently Notre Dame 2-0 in this Big Ten division. Still have 2 more matchups to go before they reach that semifinal and championship, hopefully. But the Big Ten is starting to show out, really making their name within this rugby D1 world. Currently, Ohio State and Illinois, like you said, both in that top 25. Notre Dame creeping their way closer as well.
Zach Banton will just not go down. It took 5 attempts to finally bring Banton to the ground. Eventually, Miataszewski receives the ball for Notre Dame. He lowers his center of gravity. Pile drives his way between a few defenders. And now it's the tactical kick from Guinan. Miscue by Purdue. Eventually, the knock-on called. Notre Dame have the ball in their attacking half now.
And I don't know if it's just the luck of the Irish or a flustering game, but a lot of unfortunate knock-ons in these last 2 minutes for Purdue.
Yeah, this game definitely has slowed down quite a bit, David, from the first half. It feels like a lot of fireworks in that first half with all the tries Notre Dame were able to score. And now just a bit more of a chess match out here in the second half.
Yeah, completely different story from last week. Notre Dame really finding their mojo within those first at least 20 minutes, and then the game really settling down. Up 36, you really just have to try to give everyone some touches on the ball.
Zach Banton fakes going to the right, goes to the left instead. Here's Banton once again. He's going to do it all. It's Zach Banton. And it's beautiful. Banton's got his second try of the game.
How about that one-handed forcing the ball into the ground? Banton still firing this team up only with about 10 minutes left. But what an incredible score right there. That is just complete rugby.
The Energizer Bunny, Zach Banton, from the dugout to the pitch. He's got 2 tries now. You want to talk about hat-trick watch. Zach Banton in these final 10 minutes would not put it by him. Notre Dame now up 41-zip. They got a chance to make it 43 with the foot of Philip Guinan. He will do the honors on this conversion kick. And Zach Banton, just a work of art, able to kick it to himself. That's 2 Purdue defenders on him, and then from there is a foot race. Banton's never been in a foot race that he's lost. He wins that with ease. as the lefty Guinan laces up his boots. And his strike is wide right. That one was a tough one to see right there, as this game remains 41-0. I think Notre Dame will be happy with that.
Yeah, you talk about the raw athleticism of Bannon. Match that with his talent and composure within the game. He's able to pick apart this defense, really just dancing across the field like you've mentioned. Just turning into a Bannon blitz right now. One more score away from the hat trick.
Yeah, Zach Banton is just that spark of energy constantly. He really tires himself out. You could see him on the broadcast just about a minute ago, taking some deep breaths after that long run. But when he gets the ball, he is magic. And now we have less than 10 to go on the clock here at Stinson Rugby Field. Line out for Purdue, 41-0 in favor of Notre Dame. Thanks for joining us on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. So happy to be with you tonight, bringing to you this clash between these two sides from Indiana. As Purdue, look, just to put something on the board. They don't want to go out being shut out tonight.
Yeah, solid call right there. And like I said, we might be making history. This is 2 consecutive weeks in a row where Notre Dame plays a team on Friday, and then their football teams play each other again the following day. The Irish had an unfortunate matchup last week against the Aggies on that Saturday, hoping to go 2-0 this weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure all 8,000 students here at the University of Notre Dame hope for a similar result tomorrow night, as Will Scariano is gingerly walking after being hit. It looks like something to his leg, and they're going to call for the team to gather. Hopefully Scariano is okay. Talk about this a lot on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. All of these rugby players are some of the toughest guys in the world. So whenever anybody's hurt on the pitch, take it with a great amount of seriousness, as Scariano looks to remain in the game. We will monitor this situation, however. 8:40 on the clock. And David, what have you seen tonight? What's been the difference maker for Notre Dame?
I mean, really the difference maker was just getting an early start. We saw a slow game last week, really building themselves up and coming off that energy, got their strut going on, coming into this Purdue matchup, and got the scoring early. We had saw 2 tries within about, I believe, 7 minutes, both of them coming from Waterhouse. And that was just the difference maker. If you had to pick one player, having a hat trick within the first half, another guy who can come off the bench and have a hat trick possibly in the second half, there's just nothing like that in this game.
Yeah, another strong performance today was from Matt Williams, who put together a few points for the Irish as well. Jack Dunn also spectacular tonight. And just all around, across the board, every Notre Dame player has done their job in this one against Purdue. 8:17 on the clock as we resume play after the short injury break. It's a scrum for Purdue past this halfway line. Purdue players chanting scrum.
Another close call right there, but another huge difference maker. Notre Dame really getting into the trenches. They won 2 scrums early on the defensive side.
Yeah, that was a sight to see early in the game.
That's just a way to get your team fired up. Just that momentum built turns that offense into even more scoring.
Another set piece straight from the training ground for Purdue. This time it's Beck Sebastian with the ball. His kick goes right into the chest of a Notre Dame defender. Getting chippy right now. It looks like Matt Scariano mixed up with Purdue's John Kustra, who we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight. He's one of their better players, captain of the team, president of the rugby club at Purdue. And in these final minutes, they should look to get him involved as they try to put some points on the board. And it'll all start with this line out after Purdue knocks it into touch.
How about that kick from Guinan? Absolute bullet to the boundaries. Purdue with another chance with this line out. Notre Dame tips that one free.
Some quick speed of play from Purdue. A backhanded offload, unsuccessful. Looking for Ethan Miller. Purdue unable to find him as Julius Conradi, another Purdue player we haven't seen a whole lot of, plays in a much deeper role, the freshman. From Switzerland, played for Zug Rugby Club, 20 miles from Zurich. One of those 3 international players you mentioned a bit earlier in the broadcast, David. And after the knock on, it will be Purdue ball on the scrum once again. Purdue have not had success off of these set pieces. See if they can open up the field here with 6 minutes on the clock. Notre Dame do have fresh legs defensively, and they also have a lot of eager players looking to make an impact. A lot of younger guys now on the pitch for the Irish. It's LaFranchi with the tackle for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and even though Purdue hasn't gotten a lot of offense going, we've seen a lot of great promises. Like you said, 3 international players trying to build out that worldwide portfolio on the team. And it's tough to say such a historical team is still growing, but that's what's happening here.
It's definitely what is happening as ball is into touch for Purdue. This game has slowed down a lot since that electric 40 minutes of play, even from that Zach Benton try we saw just about 10 minutes ago, which he did it all himself. Benton still on the field. He's just waiting for that next moment when he receives the ball. He just loves to go, and this could be a time in which he receives it. The Irish win it back off of the interception, and some nice moves from Matt Williams, who's put together a really strong performance tonight. Ball now finds Scariano. He's going to kick it deep into Purdue territory as the Irish look to press.
Look at Bertelli chasing him down.
Was Ethan Miller for Purdue on the ball. It's a slow ruck for the Boilermakers. They're going to kick it high into the hands of Philip Guinan. Try to pressure him quickly. Guinan with a nice offload out to Will Linke. And here's Zach Benton. Let's watch him go. He beats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. Benton's still going. He's inside the 22 before he offloads it. Takes on nearly half the team.
Almost hurdles a guy as well. The guy stopped a little bit short, but Benton really just steamrolling through. I mean, that's a guy you just want to avoid tackling.
Yeah,
hate to say it.
He's a scary sight. And speaking of sights, this is beautiful. Floodlights on here at Stinson Rugby Field. Friday night rugby. Got a packed house. Tons of Notre Dame fans. Got a good bit of Purdue fans here as well with the football team in town tomorrow. 3:30 kickoff at Notre Dame Stadium.
And you can't beat it. Clear skies and a packed Irish house. Notre Dame really showing out for most of their home matchups this year.
Yeah, was a bit worried about the weather today. It was super hot out as Purdue pick up the ball. It's Ethan Miller with room to run. Philip Guinan moving back, and Philip Guinan makes a real nice tackle low on Ethan Miller. But all tackles count the same in that regards, and Notre Dame will win the ball right back. That was phenomenal by Philip Guinan. What heart he just showed.
Yeah, huge save right there. Guinan proving that he's all the bark and the bite. Chasing his way down, really backing up that talk.
Yeah, and Dave, what I love about that, 41-0, 2 minutes on the clock. Philip Guinan still hustling like it's a 0-0 game. They always say that in sports, oh, it's 0-0, but Philip Guinan showing why right there. All fight
and
for number 10.
There's a reason why the Irish are setting a season-high points scored and points differential tonight. Not only are they putting numbers up on the offensive side, but they are letting up no chances for Purdue to get a try.
Yeah, it's been the case tonight. The Irish defense, so well structured, just put together in such a uniform manner where it's tough for any team to really crack them open, as the Irish offload is a bit wayward, and you can see one of those uncharacteristic sloppy plays for Notre Dame. Haven't seen a whole lot of those tonight. It is late in the game. as Notre Dame tries to see this victory out. 1:44 on the clock. Irish maintaining their press. Race Bates win it. And Race Bates is going to go. Dash into the try zone. It's Race Bates. He touches it down. And the sophomore from Arizona makes his mark on the game.
Off to the races. Bates gets down there and absolutely turns on that 5th gear. A huge gap once he gets into that full sprint mode, and you can tell those workouts have been paying off.
Yeah, Race Bates, one of those highly touted recruits we talked about from Coach Justin Hickey. Went to Brophy Prep, was a superstar there. A great bit of defense and turning that defense into offense. He had all the room to run. Purdue were playing a high line. They were trying to score a try, and rightfully so, down 41-0 with 1:30 on the clock. However, just a bit of a miscue, a misfiring from Purdue. It was a knock-on right into the hands of Race Bates, and he exploded all the way to the try zone. It's 46-0 now in favor of Notre Dame, make it 48-0 after the successful conversion from Phil Guinan. And that one just about does it here at Stinson Rugby Field.
Now, this has been back-to-back years where Notre Dame has scored 45+ and shut out their opponent. Last year, they beat Michigan State 50-0. This year, doing it against Purdue, 48-0.
It's Race Bates with the final try of the day for Notre Dame. A hat trick from Jack Waterhouse. All in the first half. Matt Williams chipped in as well. Zach Banton with 2 here in the second half. And it's been all Notre Dame. 48-0. A dominant performance from the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame looking to win it, to kick it into touch, and to see this one out. You want to talk about a confidence booster heading into the back half of the season. This is exactly what Notre Dame got.
And speaking of this back half, like I just mentioned, Notre Dame going on the road to play a team that they just beat 50-0 last year. And then after that, 3 consecutive home matchups for the Irish. And you know they can keep this home turf pretty well kept.
Indeed they can. It was all Jack Waterhouse here at Stinson Rugby Field. Notre Dame with a staunch 48-0 victory on Friday Night Rugby right here on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. We thank you so much for sticking with us today. Thanks to our great team in the back and to my partner in crime, David Owens, your first collegiate broadcast in the book. So happy to do it with you, brother.
Great to be here.
Yeah, and we hope to see you all next week and 2 weeks from now and the rest of the season right here on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. Chris Daly, David Owens signing off from South Bend, Indiana.